Hello, ladies. Welcome to the podcast Living in Your Feminine with me, your host, Victoria Janke. This is a safe place for you, sisters. We're going to talk about all the feminine subjects, what it means to be a woman, how you thrive as a goddess, how you be successful in business. But we're also going to talk about subjects that people don't normally talk about, like miscarriage, because we want to educate people and also that women don't feel alone anymore. I have amazing experts who are going to give you so much value. So get a cup of tea and let's go. Welcome to another episode of Living in Your Feminine. Welcome, my sister. I'm so excited. Get a cup of tea and let's get comfortable. Today, I have my beautiful friend Laura here with us again because we have so much more to talk about. For everyone who doesn't know who's Laura, she's a psychologist, coach, and a yoga enthusiast. We actually just came back from yoga and now we were like, oh my God, we have so much more to talk about. Let's do another episode. So welcome, Laura. How are you doing? How do you feel after yoga this morning?
Amazing. It was a really powerful class. So I'm feeling ready for the day.
Yes, and ready for another episode.
Exactly.
Living in Your Feminine. Today we want to talk about insecure overachievers, also what imposter syndrome does with you and people pleasing and how you can get out of this. And a lot of women actually have that. We don't believe so much in ourselves. I had this for many years in my life. And so it's a very important subject today. And I'm so thrilled we're going to talk about it. So let's go. Laura, you as an amazing powerhouse woman. You're successful as a psychologist, as a coach, and you're in this business environment because you coach business people, business women. Can you share a little bit your experience with insecure overachievers from your own experience? Were you yourself an insecure overachiever, and your clients share a little bit with us?
Insecure overachiever is a topic which I realized that many of my clients are in some way or in another way insecure overachievers, and that it's a topic which is very important to me to help people and to make them stronger, to help them to get more secure, and if people are more from their powerhouse, from their own secureness, they can achieve even more.
And how did you realize that they are like insecure? What are the signs for insecurity? Like, did they come to you like, I'm so insecure, or like, what are the signs? Because I think that's very interesting for the listeners that are like looking at themselves or people around them. So like, how do you know someone is insecure? Because a lot of very successful people, actually actresses, models, or like business people, they're having an imposter syndrome. And imposter means that you don't believe you're valuable or you don't deserve this success or this look that you have. So like, what in your experience, what is it showing? Like when you're insecure, like how do they act, or how does this come up?
Yeah, absolutely. It's often imposter syndrome. Where people are coming to me and they're like, it's too much for me. I'm doing this job, but I'm so afraid that tomorrow I get fired because people suddenly realize that I'm a fake. And it's really, for me, it's really touching because those are incredible, strong and beautiful women, or sometimes also men. And they
can be strong and beautiful too, the men.
They are. And I really want to shake them and to say, hey, you are such a beautiful person. Wake up and see it. But of course, that's not the way how people wake up and see it. But what I want to say is it's really a passionate topic for me. I want to change. I want to help them. And what was the question again? Sorry.
The question was, no worries. The question was how it shows that they are like insecure. But you actually said it right now that, so like very successful people in general always don't have to be very successful people, that they think that they are fake when they have success. And I feel a lot of people have that, especially women, that they're believe they don't deserve the success, or that like everything they're doing, the work, it's fake. Like for me, for example, I always thought, oh, me being on a red carpet and being on this fashion magazine and having 1 million followers, I'm fake. I'm basically a girl from Berlin, Germany, who grew up in a more like a poor family, and I'm just like building this fantasy around me, and that's actually not me. What in the end, it's total BS, because that is me. I built that, and I don't have to be the same person the whole time. And yes, I feel this is something that a lot of people feel, and maybe you can give us some tips what you can do when you feel imposter syndrome. I still have it sometimes, that I feel like, oh, like this doesn't feel I deserve that, or I feel I'm faking something even though I don't. Can you give us some tips what you can suggest what we can do in order to overcome it?
Yes, of course. One thing before, another sign where people come to me, it's not only imposter syndrome. Sometimes it's like, it's too much stress for me. I can't set boundaries. I want to please my boss. Mm-hmm. And then that's another typical thing. So it's so much in my job. I'm doing well, but people want too much from me, and I can't serve them. That's another sign where people come to me.
Feeling stressed, like kind of burned out.
Really,
kind of
yeah, kind of not really burned out, but like a step before.
Like feeling stressed
they
with the work.
Like used to deliver all the time. Mm-hmm. And and want to do more. Often it's like an environment where their colleagues are delivering as well. They're like the most brilliant people in the world are in that firm, for example. And then you have like a tough competition, and you want to deliver, and okay. And even if they are successful for many years, they know if I make one mistake, it can be over tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And they are so afraid to making mistakes, so that they are like all the time insecure and like really holding it all together.
Mm. And I feel also another thing that shows up in imposter syndrome is that you compare yourself with others. That you think like, oh, but my colleague, she can do it better, or she did it better than me. I feel this is one thing. So it's so signs for imposters being stressed, comparing yourself, and feeling fake.
Absolutely. And you compare yourself with the shiny, secure outside facade of the other person. And even if the other person is on the same level insecure as you won't notice, because of course you're not walking around and saying to your colleague, oh, I feel so insecure, it's a tough day today. No, you're like, I'm trying to shine, and you're trying to say, hey, everything is under control, I'm the best in the team.
Trying to shine. Do you think it would be better to say that you feel this way, that you feel like feel like an imposter? Do you think people should do it?
I think it depends, because of course there's always the environment, the culture, and if you are working, and often people are working in an environment which feeds this imposter syndrome situation, and if you're like saying, okay, I'm feeling weak today and I'm insecure, probably you won't survive very long in that kind of culture. So it's important that you find a way where you can be more vulnerable, but on the same time be more secure, that you can like hold that the reaction of the other person.
So what would be a tip? How can you be, or what can you do to be vulnerable and secure at the same time? So what a tip that you can give to the listeners if they start to feel imposter? What can they do?
The first thing I would start with, or one tip, is to really realize what have I already succeed in, where am I at the moment, and where I'm coming from. For example, when you told me, yeah, you're from this girl from Berlin, and then you see, wow, now I have 1.2 million followers or something. What did I do for it? What were the steps from 300 followers to 1,000 to 2,000 and so on? And then really write the steps down, so that you can, you start to believe, okay, I managed that. Because our psyche is so funny. We sometimes forget things we do. Maybe you know this feeling, you're coming home from a long day and you feel like you got nothing done. But then when you write down what you actually done that day, it adds up. And that's the same thing, but you can do it like for years and years backwards. Okay, I did bachelor degrees, I did the master degrees, and so on. And then you have like proof that you are not an imposter.
Oh, I love that. Actually, one of my coaches, she told me that as well when we talked about my previous imposter, that she told me to, because before I always journaled down the things that is bothering me. So I was journaling all the negative, and she was like, let's start to journal at the end of the day what you achieve. What were the great things? What are the things you're grateful for? What are the things that you're grateful for about yourself? And that's a very powerful thing. I don't do it every day. I sometimes forget, but I remember myself to always be grateful. I feel like being grateful as well, and being grateful for what you have in your life and what you achieved as well. And what also helps is you can ask your friends, right? Like we do with each other. I'm like asking them, what are 3 things that you like about me? What are 3 things in my work that you appreciate? Or you can ask your colleagues even, right? So I feel this is very good, because then it's like having the truthful mirror in front of yourself. Mirror, mirror on the wall. That can be your friends or your colleague. Tell me the truth about my achievements in life at all. So literally, wow, this is a mantra. Girls, you should write this down. Ask people, and they will tell you what you achieved. And I had this with a friend a week ago with Sabrina, and she was like, this is incredible what I achieved. Oh, we talked about, right? I'm friends with May Musk now, and she's watching all my stories, and I'm like, man, this is quite incredible. Or I'm having a TV show now, I'm going there, and I'm like, hold on. And I'm doing a women's event now in Miami. Like, hold on, I achieved that.
Exactly.
Together with other people, of course, not just me, but
celebrate your successes is so important, and the small and also the big ones.
And celebrate with others. That's another thing. Find a group of people you can celebrate with. I went to this event, it's called Millionaire Mindset, and we really we got put into groups together, and we celebrated our breakthroughs, and not just like, hey, yeah, you did it, like, wow, you did it, high five there, we're all dancing together and having fun. Like really finding people you can celebrate your successes with, and have people who remind you what you achieved. And if you don't have these people, or you don't feel confident enough to ask others, you can just write it down in a journal. So that's very cool. So let's reframe it. Journaling about your success, asking your friends, your colleagues, what they like about you, what you achieved, and celebrating the S ... out of it.
Absolutely. And also, if you write down your successes, you can look behind it and to look which strengths of mine are there. Where am I really good at? And to know what you are good at allows you to also admit the things where you're not that good at. So it makes you stronger in many ways.
You said this right now. I just remembered an exercise I did 2 weeks ago where we were, and you, whoever's listening right now, you can do the same. You get a sheet of paper and you draw a table and you draw the 4 legs of a table, because a table cannot stand with 1 leg or with 2 legs. It needs the 4 legs. And you take the time and you breathe in, you breathe out, and you think and feel, very important for the ladies, feel about what are the things that make you special. For example, with me, I'm a huge networker. You can put me in a room with 400 people. I will connect with every of them and I will get all their phone numbers. So that's one strength. Then another one is I have a big heart. I care about people. And then another one for me is I have an authentic story to tell. Mm-hmm. And then the fourth one is going back to my childhood, having an abusive childhood and all this. I can build a life no matter where you put me in the world, no matter what is happening in my life. I will always get up and I will always create a life around me. And this is my table. This is my foundation, right? And I actually put this as my phone saver. So I have a little reminder of what makes me unique, mm-hmm. what makes me to the person that I am, and what makes me successful. And I look at it every day when I look at my phone. So I would highly encourage you to do that, to think about it. And also there, if you don't know what makes you unique, have a friend like Laura, or ask one of your friends, tell me what makes me unique, and write it down. And you can always change it, right? And then put it as your phone saver, because that's also a reminder for you to be looking at you. Oh my God, this is me. Because we're so critical with ourselves, especially our mind, right? And going back to yoga, you're also a yoga teacher. Maybe you can give us some tips how you calm the critical mind. What is also imposter syndrome, or is also stressing yourself, right? Or also people pleasing. It's another thing we can talk about. But what are some techniques you can do when your mind gets in the way and it's just telling you, you can't do this, you're not good enough?
Yeah. What I really, really like was when you have your mind is telling you, yeah, you're not good enough. I'm a huge fan of journaling and paper and pencil to have it. Do it really with your hand. It makes a difference. And if you just write down your thought, which is hindering you, and then you're asking yourself, okay, what is this thought costing me? What are the costs of that thought? And then on the other side, and this is a question which may surprise you, it's also what is the win behind that thought? Because we are pretty intelligent people as human beings, and we don't do things which are senseless. So if we do something, even if on the outside it looks or it appears like it's hindering you or it's making you successful, it's on the inside, it's something where you get something from it. For example, if I want to do sales calls and I don't do it because I don't like it that much, then of course in the outside it's costing me to make more sales calls. But on the inside, it's super good because I don't have to do it. I now can relax and watch Netflix or something. So it's always, you have a win and a lose situation, and really write both sides down. And then you can decide. And I think that's also very important. Is it okay for me to pay the price? Am I willing to do it, to pay the consequences? In that case, in that example, the consequence would be, okay, not watching Netflix until. Or is it fine for me that I don't do the same sales calls and therefore I am allowed to lay there and procrastinate?
But then you're not making money and you're not impacting people, right?
Exactly.
So is it?
But I think it's important that you see you can do both. In one case, for example, you can do something else, go to a network event and do your sales there. Maybe that's more compatible with your personal strength. So I find it very important to look at that list and know, okay, I'm choosing very consciously A or B, but then I'm willing to pay the price. On the one hand side is the price not watching Netflix. On the other hand, I'm not impacting people. Okay, which price am I willing to pay?
And having the why as well. We both are from the Tony world, right? Because it's not just doing the sales call. It's also why you're doing the sales. Is it because you want to have make money so you have a better life for your family, or you want to, like with us, we want to help people heal,
more people,
right? So, and with Netflix, it's like, okay, I have 1 hour of my life where I learn about the drama of someone else's life. So really put this in perspective and what the why is. And I really like the win and lose situation. You can do like a little Excel sheet or something where you write it down. What is the pros and the cons? It's like when you want to break up with someone, you write this as well. What are the pros and cons of this relationship? You can do this in different areas in your life, girls. But so writing down the pros and the cons, and then also what I really like what you said is like, okay, what can be a different way of doing it? So what could be a different way of doing the sales? So instead of like, maybe you don't like phone calls so much. So what can be another option? It could be going to an event because I'm better in the live interaction with people, right?
Exactly,
where I can touch, where I can see. So then like finding a plan B and C and D, because we don't always have to stick with one thing. So that's very beautiful. And also, that's why I put the yoga in it. I feel breathing is super important, that you stop when you feel like your mind is going crazy, or when you feel like, oh, okay, all these thoughts are coming up, that you pause and breathe. And I mean, both of us, we're right now in a spa hotel doing a little girls trip again. And one thing we had this morning in the yoga session, or when we go in the sauna, it's a lot about breathing.
Absolutely. I have a super powerful breathing technique, which I do also when I'm also a keynote speaker, and I do that in front of the event when I'm a bit nervous or something. Then I'm breathing in, and you guys at home, you can just do it with me. I'm standing there, and I'm breathing in, and then I'm breathing out. And then I wait and hold the breath on the outside, and I wait as long as I can. Now I'm a yoga teacher, and that's why I can hold it very long. And then on the point where you feel, oh, now it's a bit difficult, then wait 1 second more, and then you breathe in again. And then breathe out. And then again, holding the breath out and wait. Wait as long as it's comfortable for you. And then breathe in. And breathe out. And again hold. And hold. And then breathe in. And the funny thing with that breathing technique is because we are like holding the breath out. And then our brain is like, before the brain was like somewhere else. And then it's like, what is happening here? I'm not getting air. What is happening? I have to come back, and you're back centered in your body because you're suppressing the breath so much. And then you can breathe in again. And then after a while, I do it like 3 or 10 breaths long, and then you're really centered and you're really in the moment and the now.
Wow, I love that. I feel so much calmer now. That was so good. Yeah, and you can also, what we did yesterday in yoga, what I really liked, what you can also put in there is when you breathe in, you can say let, and then you breathe out and you say go. So then you also put the
really
words
nice
in.
to do it with a mantra.
Yeah, you breathe in and you say let, and you breathe out and you say go. And then your focus is on, like you said, on the breath, or also on these words. And then you focus your mind again and be in the present moment. And that really helps. Before you said, like, not everyone is a keynote speaker, but that can also help when you go and have a presentation at work, or when you have a conversation with your boss or with your partner or with your colleagues that you might be scared of, that you can use as well. Breath is so, so powerful. Let's talk about people pleasing, because I feel that insecure achievers, how we call it, or imposter people also tend to go into the people pleasing. People pleasing, what does it mean to you and how does it show up?
Oh, it shows up in so many ways. I think one of the most popular ways is your colleague is giving you stuff and you're saying, yes, I can do it. And at the end, you're working way more than the rest of your team. That's something, but also in little things, maybe things where you don't even have to people please. You do it in such an automatic way that you're just like, oh, I don't care, you can decide, or something, oh, I'm not brave enough to ask the person if it's possible. For example, you are always saying, if you ask, you shall receive. I think people pleaser tend to ask less because they don't want to bother the other person. And yeah, that's another reason why it's so important that we work with that, because I was a people pleaser like hell for many, many years. And I think in some areas I still am. And my life, I think so 10 years ago or something, it was way more tiring, way more, everything was making me tired because I was thinking all the time, what is better for the other person? And this was mainly my thought in my head. And it's so relieving, and I have so much more energy nowadays that it's just more fun to live.
I love that. And I love what you said. Oh, it's so interesting what you said. I wouldn't say I love it. That people pleaser, they say yes and they don't ask so much. It's not just in work. I feel like also in relationships, in our daily relationships with your partner, with your friends, if you keep saying yes, then your cup is gonna dry out.
Yeah,
right?
You can't help other people anymore.
Yeah, you can. And it's so important to ask as well for what you need, and to be like, hey, no, I can't do that. And it's okay to say no. And especially for women, we sometimes struggle to say no because we feel like we need to please everyone. And it's so important to say no. And I had to learn that as well. I was a people pleaser as well. I was always saying yes. And I felt bad when a friend was even asking me, let's go out. And I felt bad if I would say no. So instead of like staying at home and resting so I have energy for the next day, I went out just to make my friend happy. But what happened then is we are going out and I'm not in a good energy. So it's also not nice for my friend if I'm hanging around there and having no energy. So it would have been so much better to say like, hey, my love, I appreciate your invitation. I feel very tired today. Let's go out when I'm more rested next week. And let's also talk about it next week again, because that's something I worked on with my coach as well, to stick to myself as a woman. And as a woman, we change our mind every second. So what I learned, what is very good, so people don't get offended, is to be like, hey, in this moment, for example, I really feel like going out with you, but let's talk again in a few hours and let's see how I feel. So I don't want to say yes or no now. I feel like doing it now, but let's talk in a few hours. And this was the game changer for me, because now I can be appreciative. I can say what I feel, and I can still change my mind. And my friends, they don't get offended anymore, because they know like, okay, yeah, we talk again in a few hours. And if I say no, then they also appreciate, they're okay with it, you know? And if they're not, well, it's not your thing. It's like, you need to look after yourself as well, because your friends don't want you to be there like totally tired. And I mean, in the work environment, it's a little bit different, especially if you have a boss and he asks you to do something, you should do it. But maybe you can do a list then and do like a priority list. So what is like number one priority that has to be done until tomorrow? So for example, my boss wants me to do this Excel sheet right now, but then my colleague asked me to do this marketing pitch, whatever, but this is do until next week. So, okay, I don't have to do this right now. And also asking for help.
Yeah, and I think there were many very important things in that what you just said. For example, to learn how to push back and really to say, hey, I would love to do that, but actually I have to do that, and that, and I'm willing to do it, but then I can't do something else. Please decide. If it's, for example, your boss. If it's your colleague, you can always say, no, sorry, I don't have any capacity for it. Yeah.
So important. I love that. I feel we put so much good value in exercises in here. I love talking with you. I mean, we have like the most craziest conversations about dating, about imposter syndrome, about yoga. I feel like you're going to be a guest many, many more times here. I want to give you the chance to now share anything else you would like to share with the listeners, anything that you want to give them on the way, another exercise or another like goodie, a little something that they can take in their daily life.
Yes, I think one of the most powerful exercise or exercise is for me to understand how important our feelings are, especially as women, but also for all men who are listening. And really to understand what feelings do I want to feel? And is this decision helping me to achieve that feeling? And the first step would be really, I always draw like a little heart on my piece of paper, and then I write into that heart all the feelings I want to feel. For example, I want to feel radiant. I want to feel blissful. I want to feel powerful. I want to feel crystal clear and full of energy. And then really use this list of feelings as a decision maker. Is something what can help you to make a good decision. If you can ask yourself, okay, is this, for example, going out with your friend at night, is this helping me to feel more energetic or not? And the other thing, which is also very strong with that exercise, if you have like a day where you feel a bit drained and not very happy or also a bit depressed, you can go through your list. And I do that very often. And to see, for example, okay, I want to feel blissful. And then just to use your body, where we are back into yoga, use your body because we have so much wisdom with us and we have it with us anyway. So why don't we just use it? And then to think, okay, what can I do to feel more blissful? How would I walk when I'm more blissful? I would laugh a bit more. I would shake my body a bit. I would be more playful. And maybe you can hear it at my voice. I'm already, when I'm talking about it, and here in this hotel room, I'm making like funny moves now. I feel more blissful. I feel more radiant. I feel happier than 1 minute ago. And this is such a powerful exercise for your everyday. And it's 30 seconds or something. And you can really enrich your life with.
I love it. So drawing a love heart, writing how you feel, how the decision that you're going to make is affecting the feelings that you have. And also if you want to feel a certain way, that you like blissful means you jump around so that you change your physiology and you use that as well. I love that. Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. I will put Laura's social media, her own podcast. I will all put it in the subscriptions in the link. And sisters, I wish you a beautiful day or evening whenever you listen to it. I hope you took a lot of notes. There's a lot of very good nuggets in here, a lot of good exercise. Comment what you did, what you changed. We're happy to see your comments and keep living in your feminine. Thank you, Laura, for being here.
Thank you.
Namaste. If you like this episode, please rate, subscribe, and share with other women. Let's create a community of women living in their feminine and supporting each other. If you want to stay connected with me, you can come and follow me on my personal account at victoria.janke. Until then, I see you next Thursday. Be thriving, goddess. and live in your feminine.